Welcome to Summer in October. It's Alex. I wanted to do this kind of casual 2024 in review from my experience in the horror community, watching horror movies, talk about what I want out of 2025. Obviously, I'm new here, so I'm just going to talk about what I've learned about myself in 2026. Why does that number sound disgusting to say? But next year, I'll do a little bit more of a review of what horror was created in 2025, plus my personal things. But because I didn't get into new releases last year, it's going to be more personal. So if you're into that, enjoy. So, one thing I really learned about myself already is that I like movies that are darker and more story based than I do the action of it all. I get action needs to be, in a lot of cases, involved in horror, which is fine. But when a movie neglects lore, story, just for these big action sequences or go full action, it's not for me. That's one thing I've learned. Maybe I'll see something that changes my mind this year, but so far, it's not really my vibe. The only horror so far that I haven't enjoyed is grief horror. I have not liked when grief plays the part and then it's more of like a psychological horror. I do personally think I will like psychological horror because I do like the psychological thrillers, but there's something about grief and horror. Maybe it's just because it often comes to a place where it was never scary to the viewer. It's never like a threat to me because it's what they're going through. I'm not sure what it is. Maybe I'll watch something that changes my mind this year, but so far it's just not for me. Let's talk creature features. So, one thing I've learned about creatures, I love zombies. I like zombie movies in general because it plays so much into the morality of a zombie conflict. I do like vampires, but they're not my favorite in terms of being intrigued with the creature. But when it comes to what I want more of, it's werewolves. I want more werewolves. Give me more werewolves. That's how I feel right now. For creature features, there's kind of a spectrum that I either want all the way on one side or all the way on the other. And I don't know why I am this way, but if it is something that doesn't have a lot of carnage, I want to feel like it's folklore. I want to hear the story. I want it to be very engaging in the story and what it is. If there is going to be carnage, I don't want a middle ground. I want full carnage, okay? That's one thing like Fright Night I really didn't get enough of. I wanted carnage. So when I watched John Carpenter's Vampires, loved that all. Loved all that carnage. And listen, I'm working on my 2024 tier list of all the movies I've watched, so you'll get an idea of what I've loved, but I'm going to give you a couple clues on franchises at least that I'm into. My favorite franchise so far, based on the first movie that I've watched, I haven't watched all of them yet, is if I'm looking at 2024, because I did watch one in 2025 that I'm kind of into, but so far it's Saw. Saw as a franchise, I'm really, really interested in, but my close second that I'm more excited for is actually Scream. Even though it wasn't my favorite of all the other ones I've watched, because I really liked Halloween, and I really want to know more about Friday the 13th, and I really want to get into all these other ones, Scream was more fun of a viewing experience, and I didn't appreciate it so much at the time. But I think now that I'm getting into so many horror movies and I can understand the references, and I understand how Scream is almost a breath of fresh air from what we're used to in slashers, I just want more of it. So I'm really excited to get into that one. Before we talk about 2025, I just want to go over a couple things that I've learned about myself as a creator. Is one, I need to just watch things for myself. I love hearing your guys' opinions. I love hearing your guys' thoughts. I respect them all. I want to hear them. Don't ever stop giving them to me. But I have noticed that I really need to just watch something for myself and I have to see it through. It's really easy to give up on something or say something's not for you, but you have to appreciate that there's a story. Now, there is going to be movies that at the end they don't tie up anything and it was a waste of time. I haven't really found that so much. So I'm really willing to just give anything a try. I'm going to watch it even if you guys think I won't like it, even if I think I won't like it. I'll mix it in on a day where I watch something I know I'll like. So that way I'm not getting burnt out or sad because that kind of is my second point here. Movie burnout is so real. And so is filming burnout. I don't know if you guys have ever filmed anything. It drains the good out of me, okay? Drains the good out of me. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's because I'm a little bit introverted, but it drains me. But movie burnout, I find that I get into a kick where I cannot stop watching movies. Then I reach a point where I don't even want to hear about a movie. I just need a mental break. And I've learned already that instead of forcing myself to watch something and judging it unfairly or not being able to enjoy it because I'm burnt out, I just need to take a break. Play my Switch, watch Two and a Half Men or some kind of silly TV show, and come back when I'm ready. And that's been working. I'm worried that I might get burnt out watching new releases in theaters. We'll see. I have them pretty spaced out, so I think I'm doing okay, but it could come to a point where I'm like, I can't see all these in theaters, but I'll try my best. And so let's talk about 2025. So, one thing I realized is I can handle a lot more and I like a lot more things than I thought I would. So, I'm ready to kind of push my limits now in 2025. There are some things that I shied away from. I mean, me watching Saw was something that I dreaded for a long time, and it's one of my top 10 favorite movies. So, I'm gonna push myself out of my comfort zone. I'm gonna watch stuff that scares me. I'm gonna watch stuff that is super dark, that is super, Terrifier style. I'm gonna give it an attempt because I'm curious to at least know if I can handle it and if I'll enjoy it. Because I've learned that I don't even know myself, okay? Who I was 10 years ago watching movies is not me now, so I need to give it a shot. I do plan to keep watching new movies, but also watching lots of old movies, watching lots of your recommendations. I'm going to keep doing that. And I do always want recommendations. I want your guys' thoughts, even if you don't agree with me. I'm always going to be honest because I even find when I'm on Letterboxd leaving a review, I have to put in my review before I go through everybody else's because I don't want to be swayed by someone else's opinion. Yes, if somebody points something out to me and then I rewatch it and I get what they mean, and it loses some steam, I'll acknowledge that. But what I experienced when I first watch a movie, I'm staying true to that. It's like Wolfman. Not a lot of people like Wolfman. A lot of people are underwhelmed. I can completely understand why. But for me, that day, that setting, what I wanted, it hit. And that's my truth. So I'm going to speak it. I don't want to cater to anybody ever. I am afraid that one day I'm going to really hurt somebody when I say I don't like a movie, but I just gotta be truthful. Because if I'm not truthful, I'm just regurgitating what everybody else is saying. Something I really want to do in 2025, which I've already started, is diving into other franchises. I really need to get caught up in those. And also directors. So, looking at specific directors' work. So, for example, in January, I'm doing John Carpenter. I still have some movies to go through, and I did VHS, and I'm done VHS now. So, every month, I'm going to dedicate a different director or type of director. Like, I'm going to do a lot of women directors in February, and then a franchise every month. So that way I can get to it. I can get cracking and we can start talking about things because I can't wait any longer to get through these. I'm also going to put more thought and care into physical media. So I do have some that I got at the thrift store that I'm going to do a haul for. I got my Blu-ray player. I'm going to start really getting into this because I do think there's something beautiful about physical media. I'm also going to decorate my space a little bit more so we can make it more horror for when I film. That's a work in progress, probably more in February, but that's coming. I definitely also want to be more involved. You guys know that I'm balancing work, which is a lot of different things, and this, so it's a little bit tough, but I'm getting into it. I definitely want to be a little bit more involved on Instagram, just being a little bit more active, watch more other creators, do more lives. I just want to be more interactive with you guys, so just know that I'm working on that. I'm going to be doing a lot of new releases, popular franchises, popular directors, well known names of movies, but I also don't want to neglect the lesser known, the underrated, the underappreciated. So if you have shorts, if you have movies, if you have things that not a lot of people talk about, or you don't think I'll want to talk about it because I'm on a YouTube channel, because I know some people think that. Some people think that I want to go after the big keywords. I'm totally fine to put out a video that only 30 people enjoy, okay? So even just one person enjoys it, honestly. So if there's something you want me to check out, recommend it, okay? And in terms of YouTube, actually speaking about it, I definitely want to do some kind of collab, maybe like live stream with somebody. I know I'm kind of limited because you guys know my internet sucks. I am really hoping that this is the last year I have to spend in this location where I'm stuck between a rock and a hard place. I can't get my own internet, can't speed up this internet, but I could, if there's something scheduled, figure something out to do a live, but I would love to do like a collab or get on a live stream with other creators. And I also want to try just like different types of videos, okay? If you ever see me doing something whack, it's always going to be like horror related or spooky or, the October vibe. I'm always going to do something like that, but I would just want to experiment to see what works, what we like. Some things I have planned is like going through all the VHS segments and doing a tier list of the individual segments. I'll do the same for Final Destination, like the kills, and I'll do the same for a bunch of other things. I also want to do comparisons, so maybe I do an old and a remake and talk about them, things like that. I know now that I can do my discussions. I know now that I can do my first watches. That's my foundational base, which will always exist. But I'm totally cool with experimenting. So if you ever have any ideas, let me know. So I just want to put this out here. It's not just for you guys, but also for me. I want to look back at this next year or 2 years, whatever I'm doing on this channel, and just see if how I feel about horrors change, if my interests have changed, if I've learned anything, and if I stick to what I say I'm gonna do, right? So yeah. Happy 2025, lots of content coming, and thank you so much. Thank you so much for listening to me.